Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, are your retirement benefits safe? That is the question that we'll be partially addressing today. Certainly not 100%, but partially because, of course, a bill is in the works to take away some core benefits and to change how your retirement benefits work now and into retirement. So today we're going to talk about what those are, what are those changes, what would that actually mean for your retirement, and what can you do about it. So let's talk about it. Here are the core changes that is proposed. Again, these are all proposed. None of this is set in stone, keep in mind. And keep in mind also that there has been many times over the last few decades where many of these same proposals have come up, but things have never actually happened. Could things actually happen this time? Certainly could. We don't know. But this is what we do know so far. First and foremost, when calculating your pension, instead of a high 3, they would use your high 5. Now, what does that mean? That means right now they use the 3 highest years of your career. They average what you made during those 3 years, and that's what they use to calculate your pension. And by definition, whenever they add more years in there, they're going to lower your pension. Now, for most people, going to a high 5 won't make a massive difference. Now, it'll make a difference, certainly, but it won't make a massive difference. But though for those that had really high earning years, where maybe it was only 3 years of your career, only a couple years of your career where you made a ton, and then the other years were significantly less, then a high 5 will make a much bigger impact for you than someone that had very steady income over time. But long story short, the pension is going down, at least to some degree, if things go over to high 5. Now, as of today, again, all of these things are very much subject to change. As of today, the high 5 calculation would apply only to those that retired after January 2027. Okay, again, this is subject to change, but that is correct. So if you're already retired or retired before January 2027, this would not apply to you as things stand today. Next change, the FERS supplement. This payment, if you're not familiar with what it is, if you retire before the age of 62 and you're fully eligible to retire, you would be eligible for additional dollars. It's additional money on top of your pension that you get until 62. It's basically meant to be a bridge payment to get you from retirement until age 62. And of course, if things pass as it stands today, it would be implemented right away. Now, it's still unclear whether that applies to everybody, right? Who gets it? If someone's already receiving it, already retired, does it go away immediately? None of that is exactly clear, but in some way or another, the FERS supplement, as proposed, would go away. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if you were planning to retire before 62, you may want to think of other ways to fill the gap in income. Now, there are some notable exceptions where some people still might get the FERS supplement, notably, especially special provision employees like law enforcement, air traffic control. You folks, there's special exceptions that say those people may be able to keep the FERS supplement. Again, details to come, but that is the core of the idea. And last but not least, one of the big changes is how much you actually pay towards your pension. If you were hired before 2013, you pay 0.8% of your salary to fund your pension one day. If you're hired in 2013, you pay 3.1. If you're hired after 2013, you pay 4.4. So basically, if you were hired after 2014, you pay way more into the system to fund your pension. And this change, this proposal, would move all federal employees over to this 4.4%, meaning you would pay more, a higher percentage of your pension. You would fund it yourself more. So, now, at the end of the day, I certainly have absolutely no clue and no control over whether or not these changes are made, nor do you. Now, we all have some influence, maybe, right, in our own sphere of influence, but outside of that sphere, we really don't have much say on what happens with these. So what can you do? As a federal employee thinking about retirement, what can you do to make sure you're prepared no matter what happens? And the answer is you've got to have wiggle room. You've got to have wiggle room in your plan. If you are planning to retire, and let's say you're going to have $5,000 worth of income per month, And if you have $10 less, it's going to be really stressful. You're not going to be able to pay your bills. That's a problem. If you have no wiggle room in your plan, where if some of these things change, that you can adjust, right? You've got some margin. Like, you know, we all know this inherently, even right now, even if you're still working. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, that's painful. Exceptionally painful. Okay? Now, me being a financial advisor that helps federal employees, of course, I don't want any of these changes to happen. I don't want any benefits to go away. But at the end of the day, you've got to remember, okay, what can we do? And the answer is, you do the best you can. You try to maximize all the benefits you do have. You save as much as you can in TSP, so you are prepared as you possibly can be. That's what we can do. That's all we can do. And we move forward, and you got to just make decisions based on that. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. Hopefully it gives you some context. I'll certainly keep you updated as we find more information. Now, one thing I will say before I actually end, proposals like these sorts of things have come up lots of times over the last decades, and I would be very surprised if any major impacts and changes were made to people that are just retiring. At the end of the day, I'm not sure they are going to do that. If they're really going to pull the rug out from somebody who was planning on retiring tomorrow, but because of these benefit changes may change that prospect, I doubt they would make that happen. Now, if you're a young federal employee, yeah, you better plan on all of these things. Okay? Now, we don't know. Again, I don't know. I would be surprised if all these changes applied to people retiring ASAP, like right now, but we'll see. We shall see how things actually happen. I'll keep updated here on the channel as things happen. I hope that's helpful, and have a great rest of your day.